when it comes to engagement, one of the changes that he made, aside from just breaking the site last week, is they added this little view count thing to literally every tweet, with the trick being, oh, then you'll see how much reach you're getting or whatever, and then everybody will be happy. Except that does not appear to have actually worked. Those numbers, by the way, are based on literally nothing. Like I talk to people who have sources inside of Twitter that say that has no correlation to anything having to do with people actually seeing it. But even if it did, the way that they showed that was they cluttered up the bar underneath the tweets. They made the actual like and retweet things smaller. It is plausible that people are doing less of that because it's now kind of annoying to do. Which, by the way, people complained about Twitter being very slow to roll out new features and stuff in the past. What they would have done if the old teams had been in charge is they would have tried this out as a test, actually looked into it, found out what effect it has, not just purely hypothetically, but in the real world. That is not what he's doing here. He has a random thought while he's sitting on the can, and then he dispatches the 3 remaining engineers at Twitter to do it with no thought whatsoever to the actual effects. And so again, this is just no way to run a company. Sorry, right. I know I have a lot of thoughts about this. What do you think?
No, but like the thing about there's a lot, but to do the likes and add that to the bottom, that's like impressions in advertising. Like you get 1 billion impressions for putting a tiny sign up in the corner of Times Square. It's a number invented by the advertising industry to justify charging you a lot for running ads. An impression is not an engagement. The engagement is the important part. And one of the good things that Silicon Valley says that they've brought to the entire advertising industry is actual metrics as opposed to fictional ones like impressions. They can tell you like the engagement probability. And so what the problem is with Elon Musk is now there is proof. He just wanted to give people big numbers. You want to see a bigger number than like 5 likes. You want to see 1,000 of something. Yeah. But now I look at the total views versus the engagements. And what's happening, obviously, is probably there's enough information for Elon Musk to realize why he's failing. He just has bad tweets. He just has bad thoughts, things that people see and don't engage with. And because they don't engage with, because he's just getting more and more annoying over time, because he's doing the same thing more poorly, people are essentially giving him bad grades that the algorithm is chewing on and just not surfacing to people anymore. Yeah. And pretty soon though, it'll probably be just his actual friends, because he's like, if you don't like what we serve you, go to the For You tab. People do that. Then it'll just be his fans. Then he'll get a healthy number again, and then he'll start working his way back up. But he has to shed all of this in the meantime. And the last thing is like that dynamic that you started off this like part of it with of Elon Musk kind of you pointing out he has this narrative about him, and that narrative is false. Pointing out that a narrative is false is like Elon Musk fans' favorite thing to do. The Oscar Nunez of it all. Like that's not true. And I'm gonna debunk what all these, sheep believe because I'm a lion. What they reveal in rejecting all these obvious bits of evidence that are counter to their narrative is that they just picked the guy. There's nothing about him that's great. It's just that they picked him, and now they're too embarrassed to admit that the sky's blue and that this guy is not actually Iron Man.
I agree. And by the way, it is such a fact because their admiration for him was based on hype and all that, and not on fact. Similar to Trump, we are ill-equipped to use the clear fact that he's failing to take them away. Like, first of all, they have a get out of having to have any critical thought, whatever, free card. When I point out, like I put up all those things about him, like knee-jerk firing a bunch of people who criticize him. And what they'll say is, why are you obsessed with him? So like, if they think he's done something good, then they'll talk about it because it's amazing. Anything bad, they don't have to consider it. You're obsessed. They don't need to rethink the world. And they will interpret everything. Like when he said that he was going to be restricting your tweets unless you pay, that's one of the new proposed policies or whatever. I was on a Reddit thread. Tons of people were like, yeah, no, I think that's actually good. I think like too many people give too many thoughts, but you love him because of the free speech thing. And now you switched over to only the rich should be able to say whatever they want. Like they feel perfectly comfortable taking that trip. It's madness.
It's just like a guy that's in a room with a bunch of Star Wars figurines and is, no offense, and has like completely pegged his entire identity to this. And then like Phantom Menace comes out. And it's like, what? But like Phantom Menace come out and he's like, no, it's good because my identity is this. Am I gonna have to go find some other person to toady? I can't. I've already bought too many Elon Musk figurines.
I know.
And I think the only way to really reveal it is to take like their isms and point them at Musk and just be like, A people hire A people and B people hire C people. Well, firing your lead engineer because he pointed out that you have a substandard performance, that is B people hiring C people. That's not A people hiring A people.
You're talking about the like strong men create good times create weak men create hard times create strong men. We should make that.
It's weird that you memorize
photos
that.
of Elon Musk because I see it all the time on Twitter. Anyway, also it's not that difficult to map out the ridiculous thoughts. Anyway, get off my back. You've already attacked me on Star Wars. Now you're attacking me on memorizing memes.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.